Oh God. Oh, we're already live. Okay.
Oh, wonderful. Fabulous.
Oh God. Okay. Hi guys. Sorry we're so late.
As usual. Nobody acts surprised.
I know. You know us.
What
did I say our time was?
7 o'clock. It is now 7:25.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what? That's fine. It's cool because pretty much everybody knows that now. When we say 7, we really mean between 7:15 and 7:30.
That is right.
Yeah. Read between the lines. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm Jenny Moonstone. And and this is Heidi. And I'm her favorite guest. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right.
We just had to catch up for a minute, and
yeah,
that's kind of what we were doing. So, all right. So today, what we've decided to do, I'm still going to have the readings for everybody that I said, the 10 mini readings, and actually Trisha, who please go subscribe to her channel, Trisha G, the numerologist. I think she's in the chat because she just checked on me to tell me people were waiting. So make sure you subscribe to her because she's going to do those readings with me. We're going to make a video real soon, one of these days this week. So, but I do have 3 charts we're going to do today that I picked from emails, some emails that I got that are some of my friends, not friends, like, you know, the people that are moderators, blah, 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 blah. So we are going to do 3 charts. Okay. So pick 3 charts, and we are going to talk though today about the predictions, not predictions, because I don't like to do predictions, but I'll say what the energy looks like. So what could possibly happen. I'm all about leaving it open because anything can change with, you know, depending on multiple things, but we're going to do some predictions and tell you what we think about the upcoming year, what we have to look forward to, maybe what we have to look out for, and some things to some positive things too. So
yeah.
You start us off.
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm just seeing this now. My fabric here that I got to be my new 2018 background is totally crooked, and I am just so bothered by this. I'm not going to be able to stop thinking about it. It looked straight to me when I hung it up. I mean, I looked at it like 10 different ways too, but I guess I'm just going to have to rip the staples out and try again.
If you knew how I hung pictures, you would die. Literally.
Do you just bang it and then you're like,
nail, all pictures are on one nail. If you walk in my house, you could fall, like something could fall on you.
Something could fall on you.
A lot of things could fall on you.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it. All right. So listen, folks, Happy New Year. This is my first show that I've done since the new year. I mean, Heidi's been on it over the weekend. You guys did a ringing in the new year with Rex and Trisha, and were there a couple others? Am I forgetting anybody?
Wayne and Jeff, yes.
So. Okay, duh. Right, like yeah. So that was a fantastic show, I heard. But this is the first time that I've been on anything since then. So Happy New Year to everybody. And so just right off the bat, I know we're going to talk about some Saturn domain things coming up here, but I am so excited about 2018. I'm calling it the year of the reckoning, because while 2016 was a build up towards 2017, and 2017 felt like a type of incubation period for a lot of things, sort of, you know, marinating and movement all underneath the surface. 2018 is when we are going to see the fruits of that labor. And I kid you not, mark my words now, it will be an onslaught, a merciless onslaught of exposure of household names, people we grew up with, being exposed for the most depraved crimes against humanity. And people's heads are going to spin. What is it?
Time out. This clown that was trolling me in Rex's thing found a new name, and now he's on here. Moderators, I need you to find this little crazy lunatic.
Bring him to me.
because I swear to God, this is now we're on my channel. So I will call you out and I will confront you and you will go down.
Dox him.
Block him.
Let's
get rid of this piece of shit. Remove him immediately. Anytime you see any name, because he's coming in on different names.
Right.
Little New Year's resolution to be nice, and it's really
no, that's a silly resolution. Be nice.
My heart's racing right now. I don't understand. Okay, look, and don't even get on me for feeding them because this guy is out of control. Okay, this man needs, or if it's a woman, I don't know who it is, but I have somebody that's incredibly jealous of me. That's incredibly, either this person is gay and wishes I was a transvestite because that's what he keeps saying. Okay, or he's just a straight up lunatic. Back off, you little clown. Get off my channel. Okay, thanks.
Oh yeah, for sure. What she said. So with that being said, I actually think that's a fantastic tone to take here because 2017 is all about exposure and bringing all this garbage to light and calling people out. People are going to be called out on the world stage in a way that we have never, ever seen before. What would you say is the planet that holds, Heidi's got that look in her eyes, you guys. She's serious.
Oh, go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine. I just, forget the trolls. Who cares? Saturn.
Yes.
Tell us what Saturn is doing.
All right. Well, Saturn right now is doing something very incredible. So, everybody thinks, and if you're in follow Western astrology, Saturn is in Capricorn, right? That's what everybody thinks. And, we are going to feel a lot of that because K2 is actually in Capricorn. So regardless, people are going to kind of feel that Saturn energy just because K2 is there as well. So there's definitely going to be a serious energy in Capricorn. Okay. So, but Saturn, just like I've been saying, Saturn is in Sagittarius. Okay. But, for me, I know Western astrology and I know Vedic. Okay. I use the sidereal zodiac, but I follow them both and I'm aware of both of them because I think they both work. And what happens when you have with Saturn right now, it just left Scorpio and it just went into Sagittarius. Okay. So first and there's 3 different nakshatras. That's what I always talk about, the nakshatras. And there's 3 different nakshatras that are in Sagittarius. There's Mula, there is Purvashada, and then there is Uttarashada. And Uttarashada splits between Sagittarius and Capricorn. So the first 2 padas are in Sag, the other 2 are in Capricorn. But it just went through Mula, okay, and January 15th, and I just saw this from Michael Reed. You should go check out his channel. He's really good on the nakshatras. And Michael Reed is phenomenal. And he does the sidereal zodiac nakshatras, but tropical tropical signs. But regardless, in the sidereal zodiac, these nakshatras, it's the same. So Saturn is in these same nakshatras no matter what. There's no tropical really nakshatras. Okay, so when you look at Saturn in this nakshatra, I just did a lot of research on Purvashada, just recapped through it. And Ernst Wilhelm, who was just on my channel, he actually translated the Sanskrit with some of in the Vedas that has the nakshatras. Him and his wife did. So I went through, and I'm going to show you guys because, hold on a second. All right. So, and this is a free download book that you can get on his website on VedicAstrology.net. I have it all over my show. And if you go to the last show, it will be there. But this is the nakshatra. I'm not going to get into all the Sanskrit terms, but let's just look at what this means. Okay. I knew prior to this right here, what I knew about Purvashada. It's ruled by Venus. Okay. So what's Venus? Women, sex, pleasure, art, all that good stuff. It's more of Sagittarius has Mula, which is more ruled by K2. It's a little darker, But then Purvashada is ruled by Venus, so it's more about pleasure and artistic stuff, finding beauty in things, finding beauty in art history, okay, all that kind of stuff. But also, you know, I do a lot of the political people's charts and all those fun people, and there are certain charts that pop into my head that have prominent planets in this. For instance, Comey. I haven't had a chance to look at Huma, whatever the hell her name is, but I'm pretty sure, almost 100% sure she has planets there, if I'm recalling right. Okay, so there's a lot of those people, because a lot of people that have planets in that can go into politics. So when you see this, read what this is, what this says. Basically, it's saying, this is it translated, because nobody really has a lot of information on the nakshatras so much. It's all what people have kind of translated from their own ways. Like what I've done it, the way I've learned was through people, you know. So, but look at these. This is the earlier thing. The waters, the earlier, victories, vigor from above, assembly, conflict, battle from below. Okay, so we can just like think about all those words, and Jenny, use your creative mind here, okay? Yeah. Read that. And let's talk about Saturn. What's Saturn? And this is all the way from January until August. It's transformation, fear, servant, self-doubts, hard work, duties, longevity. Saturn's given everybody a real kick. It's a long transit. It's going to be in this nakshatra for all the way until August. That's a long time, a long time. Okay. It's also death, restrictions, calling people, it's bringing things to justice. It's, you know, sad depending on how this sits in your chart. Now, I'm not saying this nakshatra is bad for everybody, because I know a lot of people that have this nakshatra and it's not bad. Like, I know a lot of men that have it that definitely have fun with the ladies, okay, that can't settle down. I'll say that. I know a few of my friends have this. And I know, you know, some people, though, that are just very artistic, that love to be around the water. But let's go with the water, too, because water is emotions. Water is, you know, and for some reason, I said, will there be tsunamis? Somebody asked something about tsunamis. Well, you know how I said on the last show when we did it, I said something about flooding, and then I said Satabisha is flood, is water, it can be drowning or something like that. And then in the Philippines, apparently there was a flood. Well, this is like a different, this is like more water. Okay, way more. And this is more of like Mother Nature, you know? So, and then read Venus, and this is women. Venus is, you know, sometimes when these two planets are conjunct anyway, you have to look at this energy together and how it's affecting each other. Saturn on Venus isn't the most fun. It's not. I mean, I can look at this I have a star Venus from Saturn, so I can tell you that it can really do some damage, especially now bringing women's rights to justice. Okay, and then so I'm done with this, but that's just a little quick thing. How, you know, Jenny, what are your thoughts on that?
So the water thing for me is so important, because while water does have domain over our emotions, it's also a very destructive force. And I know, you know, we talk about the storm and the metaphor of the storm in society right now, the calm before the storm is coming, the storm is here, weathering the storm. The concept of a storm is both physical, you know, it's natural in the literal sense, but then we also have, you know, storms of truth. And I think that's really what's happening here, is that we are about to embark on a type of raining down of truth and justice that some people will detect as being the end of the world. We really are in so many ways in what the Bible and so many texts have referred to as the end times or the apocalypse. But, you know, I think everybody on the planet is going to have their perceived definition of what apocalypse means. I'm so excited about 2018, whether it's difficult, you know, financially, physically, any of those things. Sure, there's going to be challenges. Things are probably going to seem like they're getting really dark. But I know, and I know that you know, and a lot of people that understand what's going on, or at least to some extent understand what's going on, are actually very optimistic. No battle is easily won. No, nothing good comes easy. And so I think we are headed into this type of, it's cleansing. it's very difficult. And I think we're going to lose a lot of people to the truth. The truth is probably going to separate, you know, the children from the adults, so to speak. I mean, the people that just don't have the heart or the intestinal fortitude to accept what is. And then there's going to be the rest of us that go with it, go with the flow like water. You know what I mean? So we really are headed. We're in a river of sorts, a river of change, a river of consciousness. And if you fight the tide, you're going to struggle and you're going to drown. If you go with it, you'll be just fine. You know, the point is to be fluid. The point is to go with it and to bend with it. I'm so excited, really, because I know what's coming, you know, and people are like, oh, you know, you can't put your faith in a president. And it's not like, I feel like I'm always repeating myself. It's not about the president. It's not about one man. Change is going to come from the people. And I actually more than ever have faith in the people, that the people are going to do good things with the information that's coming out. So I'm trying to keep up with the comments here, but I turned my phone to the side, so I actually see it a little bit differently now. But don't worry about the trolls, Heidi. Are
you reading this though? This maniac in here?
There's a few maniacs tonight. Well,
it's the same guy. He's just
the same person.
He did this on Rex's show, and he kept coming in on different names.
I mean, take it as a compliment, honestly, because, you know,
it's just such a distraction, and I'm so distracted, and you know how I get. So, like, I don't have patience or time for that, and you just ruin everything and totally divert the whole situation. So that's all right. You'll live and learn your lesson. Something horrible will probably happen to you, and I hope it does. All right. Anyway,
I really don't know, because all it is somebody that is obviously either bored, jealous, broke, all of the above, and doing.
I told you how much my readings were, and that's why you're complaining and crying.
Right.
Right. So that's all right. Anyway.
All right.
Okay. So there's a couple interesting. So I've been really into the geometria stuff. Okay.
Yes.
This is quite interesting to me.
Oh, it's fascinating.
In 2018. Okay. So everybody should get this app. I suggest to get this app because I was playing with it for a while, and there are so many interesting things. I took snap things of everything. So 2018, there was only 3 other words that had the same numerical value, and it was zygote. I didn't even know what that was. Okay, do you know what that is?
A zygote, isn't it? It's like an organism.
It's when the sperm meets the embryo and creates like a fertilization type of thing. Okay. But I didn't know what that was. So I had to Google zygote. I'm just being honest. And what did come up was this movie, Zygote, that was and if you go watch that movie or watch the trailer for it. It's quite interesting. It's aliens and it overtakes the world. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. But that's just like nothing serious.
So
I was thinking about that zygote. So if it's something like that and it's that birthing process, I'm going to tell you some really positive things. I think it's definitely a time for new beginnings. Definitely times to start projects. Definitely things. Definitely times to, so it's 2018. Busy work, protectively, and zygote. Those are the only 3 words that popped up on this. United States of America, I thought this was interesting. Penitentiary is part of United States. What else? What else did I find interesting? I went through all the planets. Okay, the number 11. So, because everybody talks about 11 being like such a great spiritual number, which I think it is. Okay, that's fine. But I break it down and I'll go 11. I'm still looking at 2. I'm still doing that in my head too. But 11, one of the words that pop up with it are arrested, blacklists. This is so crazy. I mean, it's amazing, just the words. Hold on. And then we're in the year of the dog for Chinese astrology, right?
That's actually not so bad. The dog is a really good animal. Like
it is. Absolutely. You know what it means? God.
It's, there's perseverance, endurance, playfulness. There's many, many great traits. I'm sorry. The lighting is kicking my ass right now. I'm so bothered by this. I can't, it's driving me nuts.
So some other interesting things the moon, you know what else popped up with the moon? Men in Black.
Duh. That's the Agent Smiths of the world, the deep state. You know, God, there's so much. I'm really like, it's overwhelming. In a good way, though, in a good way, because the lines are really being drawn in the sand right now. And soon what we'll be able to see is everybody exactly where they've aligned themselves. 2017 gave everybody the opportunity. The opportunity was sort of imposed upon people to align themselves with whatever they choose. So now you're polarized, whether you like it or not. You can't just be neutral anymore. You have to take some kind of a stance. And now what we're going to see in 2018, I believe, is a huge push for the normalization of things like Satanism. Listen, it's such a slippery slope, and it's such a fine line, because there are belief systems and religious, I shouldn't say religious, but there are cults and organizations and groups that worship Lucifer and Satan, and they don't actually kill people or kill animals or break the law or anything like that. They just worship whom or what they choose to worship. And they don't break the law. That's pretty much, I'm personally okay with people that want to worship whatever they want to worship, as long as they're not harming anybody. That's really what it comes down to. The problem is that the term Satanism now has taken on so many different meanings that they have, when I say they, I mean the controlling factions, the ones at the very top who practice this and align themselves with this fundamental darkness. I don't feel comfortable calling it Satan. I don't feel comfortable calling it Lucifer or the devil, because I really don't think it's that simple. I think all of those terms are defined. The definitions of names and things like that need to be sort of discussed, because they want us to have an idea, a perception about what Satanism is. And they're going to introduce it and make it more mainstream and normalize it under the guise of, do no harm and everything's fine, when really what that is a gateway to accepting worse and worse things into regular society. I mean, I really think we have people speaking out right now about the legalization of pedophilia, and they're saying it's a disorder, not a crime. I mean, we've been talking about this since last year, not 2016. You know what I mean? So people really need to be vigilant now. And, I say especially the LGBTQ community, because make no mistake, the people that want to normalize this sort of thing will utilize such avenues as the gay and lesbian community, because those are the communities that are the most progressive, the most liberal, if you will. And I think that people within those communities, in order to retain the integrity that they have, need to be very extra vigilant and call out any attempts to normalize pedophilia or promote pedophilia in any way. There is absolutely nothing wrong, illegal, or immoral about homosexual relationships between consenting adults. There is, however, something extremely morally corrupt and corroded about the normalization, just the concept of sex with children. Okay, and these people are going to start there. They already have. The community of pedophiles in this country is larger than people care to understand. And we are going to see a huge exposure of who is involved in that. People you wouldn't even think. People you wouldn't believe it. People are not going to believe it, Heidi. Jeff actually, I think we did this on a show a couple months ago. We asked the rods. Now, for the record, I think that the rods are for entertainment purposes only. But in any case, to illustrate my point, we consulted with the Rods. Is the truth about the elite pedophilia rings going to come out? Yes. Are the people going to believe it? No. And that's the struggle. People are not going to believe the truth, even though it's going to bite them in the ass. And that is the storm. The storm is a personal storm. It's internal first. It's psychological first. You have to be able, in order to accept that kind of truth on such a global scale and to really digest that, we're going to have to do a lot of serious internal work. That's going to force us to contend with our own shadow. And so many people are just not ready for that. They're like, oh, that would force them to look at their own lives. You know what I mean? Don't think for one second, the people that really started to research about the corruption and the pedophilia, it's been the hardest year of my life in terms of shadow work, in terms of my personal problems and my habits and all of my darkness and the things I do wrong and the things that make me feel dirty or make me feel bad. This has brought up and brought out so many skeletons, because you look around, you do the research, and you see that the most seemingly normal people are capable of things that you not in your wildest dreams did you imagine that this was actually going on right under our noses. And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, wow, like the shadow is real. Evil is real. You can't hide from it anymore. Not on a global scale, a global stage, and certainly not on a personal level. This is as much of an internal war as it is external.
Yeah, it really is. And I have been saying this, you've been saying this since last June, making the predictions about it. And it's funny because now that it came out, then everybody's starting to get on board and use it as predictions, because now it's like before, and I don't care, that's fine. But the point is, we were the first.
It's frustrating. No, it's fucking frustrating. Excuse me.
The first one.
You know what it is? Heidi, I was so chastised. I was made to feel so crazy and stupid, and I was told to get a life and to just be normal and to give it up. It's a debunked conspiracy. Like, and then those same people now are like, no, I really, I believed you, and yeah, I knew it was coming. And it's like, no, you didn't. And you took every opportunity that you could to tell me that I was being imaginative, or that I was, buying into, conspiracy theories. The label, the derogatory label conspiracy theory, you can never speak it again. Nobody that knows anything or has any inkling of what's going on can ever use that term in a derogatory fashion again, because you know what? We were right. We've been right the whole time. Everybody around us has been wrong. They're the slow ones. And so while it doesn't matter who got to the information first, because it doesn't matter, the point is that when there were people talking about it, there were so many people that stood by and pointed fingers and laughed.
They didn't want to hear it too. And
they laughed at us. They didn't want to hear it. So acknowledge the fact that people were doing the dirty work before you, and acknowledge the fact, just, you know what, for no other reason other than that's part of your shadow work. It's part of your shadow work to realize that you lived in a box for too long. That's okay to admit it. You should admit it. There's nothing wrong with admitting it. But you know what? Don't turn around and tell me, oh no, I knew the whole time I was just testing you, or some dumb shit. Like people are ridiculous.
Yeah, and people want to say, oh, that Pizzagate thing. And I'm just gonna go back to everything I've been saying about Trump. Like from day one, nobody believed me that he was gonna be the one. I don't care what anybody says, he is. And I think it's more his sister, his daughter, Ivanka, has a huge for saying this. And this is something that he's passionate about. I know, because I've seen her chart. So I believe that, he's going to take him down. He's taking him down. He's taking him down left and right, and he doesn't even care. Like, he is going to blow things up this year. You watch it.
Well, honestly, like, I think that it's really important to understand that while it is literally the difference between night and day in terms of who's sitting in the office right now, as Hillary as opposed to Donald Trump, having him in the office as opposed to her is literally the big, you know, this big awesome advantage that we have. But it's just an advantage, Heidi. Having him in office is just an advantage. It's just a tool in the arsenal. Other than that, his hands are tied. Yeah. There's so much that he will not be allowed to do, to
of course say. Not. We know that.
You know, and
there's going to be certain people he can call out, certain people he can't. There's going to be the certain people that are not. It's going to be like that. I mean, we know that, but at least he's bringing attention to it. So some people are going to go down.
And, you know, I mean, yeah, absolutely. And not to just, you know, keep talking about it. It's not about Trump, folks. It's not. What this is about is what people are going to do, what collective decision the people are going to make when faced with the exposure. This information that's coming out now is going to test people in a way that we have never been tested before. We have never in the history of this planet, in recorded history, been given an opportunity like this to seize control, to seize power, to regain the high ground and take back our children, to take back the missing people, and to combat human trafficking. You know, I have gotten into it. I have been, you know, I've been called a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, all kinds of phobes because I decided that the most important issue was the human trafficking and not racism in America, not sexism in America, not refugees and anti-Islamic sentiments. All of these things are means of control and means of distraction, okay? They want to divert your attention away from the fact that the foundation of this evil empire is soaked in the blood of innocent men, women, and children. There are adults, plenty of adults, millions of adults that have been lost to human trafficking. Yeah. I mean, there's a movie coming out with Tom Sizemore, a known predator, so, you know, among other Hollywood celebrities, called Adrenochrome. They're rubbing it right in our faces. The only source of adrenochrome, in order to acquire adrenochrome, you have to take it from a living human. And the only way to produce adrenochrome inside a living human is to get their level of fear and get those adrenals in high gear. Okay. And that's, the body has to produce it and then you consume it. And they say that, you know, it's one of those sensations. They say it's the strongest sensation. It's a highly addictive sensation. And adrenochrome is a highly sought after commodity on the black market. And you know what? We're going to call it the intergalactic black market, because make no mistake, the reason why they've been able to get away with this and why this is the best kept secret in the history of the world is because this is solid gold. Adrenochrome, that hormone, what it does for the vitality, what it does for the system is literally intergalactic currency. And the people at the top of the pyramid, we can call them people loosely, but they are malevolent, interdimensional monsters. They're not from here. And they control this reality through our suffering, through human suffering. In 2018, we are going to see a lot of truths come out about that, about the nature of this planet. And I'm telling you right now, Heidi, we're going to see a huge surge in people admitting themselves into psych wards, giving up, throwing in the towel. They're like, fuck it, I can't do this. Yeah. I won't believe it. And they have breaks from reality. They will break. They will, the brain won't know what to do. They go into shock. And in order to protect the mind, they'll give up.
Yeah. That is what I kind of see. I think a lot of people, and then I think the reason why a lot of people are going to go to spirituality is because of, you know, some people are going to go to spirituality. Some people are going to go into psych wards. Some people might kill themselves. Some people might fall off the deep end. There's going to be a lot of, this year is going to be definitely the year that spins heads. Heads will spin. Okay.
Heads will spin.
People will laugh. Well, I'm going to be sitting there and just sitting there with a nice little smirk on my face and saying, don't you know, I'm in the airport now when on the way back from our Florida thing, and I swear every single man that was like in a suit, tie, and a briefcase, I thought he was a pedophile. It was so bad. It was so bad.
I don't even know. This has ruined.
Horrible.
Exactly. In so many ways, this has ruined me because I don't trust a single soul. Not a soul. Not nobody. I'm just like, because you see, and it's like I said with the shadow work, you see what people are capable of, and you never would have thought that they could get away with that. You never would have thought that that was even a thing. And it's so common. There are so many millions of people in this country, millions, tens of millions of predatory pedophiles in this country.
Matter of fact, listen to this. So it's Antarctica in the geometria. All the sex slave words were coming up with that. Trafficking, all that weird stuff. So that was awfully interesting. Okay. Yeah. Think about that. Only political people can go there, people with clearances. I'm not saying, who knows? I'm not starting a conspiracy on that. I'm just saying that's what the geometria said. Mm-hmm. Another weird thing that where was I going with that? I forget what I was thinking, what I was going with that. God, what were we just talking about? What did you just say?
Well, I mean, we're talking about trafficking.
Yeah, I know, but I had a point. God, I got distracted.
Did the gremlins steal it from you?
They must have.
No, that's true. Like, honestly, everybody needs to boycott Disney. Okay.
Yeah.
Disney World is a known employer of pedophiles. They employ pedophiles. I think there have been dozens of arrests over the past year at Disney World and Disneyland alone. All kinds of child porn revealed and just records. How come they don't run background searches on these people? You know what I mean? All the missing children, all the kids that go missing at Disney World and Disneyland every year, that doesn't raise any red flags. I mean, I just thought about something too. I mean, I know we're bouncing all over the place, but I wanted to mention something is I can't confirm it, but I have heard and I feel very strongly MS-13. I know that name rings a bell. Okay, that's
it's the gang.
It's the gang.
There's a gang. It's real big, and it's like I know a lot about MS-13 actually.
I'm not surprised about that. But you know, Trump and people very close to him have actually made it a huge point to talk about MS-13 and to raise efforts into bringing MS-13 to heel. And I have heard, and I cannot confirm it, but there is a possibility that the individuals that were contracted into murdering Seth Rich, if that is in fact what happened, were members of MS-13. And so that we could possibly, we could at this point only speculate that MS-13 was a favored or chosen mercenary group for the Clintons and for the Clinton administration for the Clinton Foundation and their associates. So we can, you know what I mean?
Maybe, but I don't know because I have too much evidence because I have people that do things with them, like that work with them on a daily basis. Okay.
With MS-13?
Yeah, not like them like that, but behind the scenes. Okay. Not okay.
What are you talking about? But you should probably stop talking.
No. Listen. No. Okay. How do I say this in a different way? I know people that represent them in court.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
So that's kind of where I was going with that. Yeah, but I know a lot about them. I know a lot about their cases. I know a lot about, anybody can hire MS-13s to go whack some people off because that's what they'll have to do it to get into the group. So, maybe they just use them as a shift in. So it's just kind of how it goes. So, we can't make conclusions to what gangs they own. I would say I was thinking more like that's definitely possible because MS-13 is definitely prevalent around the PG County area, which is Prince George's County in DC and around that area, and which is very close to DC. So that's definitely a possibility. And but I don't think it's like a conspiracy where it's all like they're all intertwined like that. You know what I mean? I don't.
Right.
But they probably, that wouldn't surprise me if they hired somebody to get some people out of jail to say, oh, I'll let this guy go if you do this. And, you know, because that's shaky.
Of course.
I mean, there's so much corruption inside correctional facilities. It's absurd. The people that have the corrections charts, this is my favorite thing to analyze, is people in jail. And the people that have the correctional officer charts have the same charts as the people in the prison. Okay. So, and I have one of those charts, just so everybody knows.
Listen, it's not that power corrupts. It's that power attracts corruptible personalities.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not my original quote. I don't know where I heard that before, but I've heard it once. It resonated and I live by it. It's not that power corrupts. It's that power attracts corruptible personalities. You have to be a certain type of individual with a certain type of psychological profile to voluntarily put yourself in a position of authority over other human beings, police officers, correct, you know what I mean? To people that want to be in charge of, you know, the disabled or the elderly or, you know, handicapped or prisoners, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that everybody in those positions is bad. I'm saying that there is a certain type of psychological profile involved when we are talking about these organized and corrupt organizations, and it's just something to pay attention to.
Yeah, great. But few things. I'm going to say a couple positive things too about what I think 2018. I definitely think it's going to be a year, like we used to say. What did we used to say? Like a September to remember, and we would say all those funny things. I do believe that this year we got to get a catchphrase going, because this year is going to like blow people's socks off. Yeah. Okay. And some people are going to be okay with it and ride the wave. Some people they're going to grow from it, change from it, and realize, you know, they're going to join groups. They're going to change their whole mentalities. Like it's going to make people get a lot more artistic. Everybody that has all these spiritual pursuits, like everything that we're doing right now, that's going to be blown off the hook. There's going to be so much competition between like tarot readers and psychic, because I think but that's good, that because there will be enough of that for everybody.
Right.
I do believe people are going to lose their minds, because we probably got to get a lot of people out there to help people. Okay. Right. So that's a positive.
Yeah. Yes.
All these healing, like this is a shift that everybody's becoming and tapping into this new realm where, you know, I'm freaking doing rods, I'm reading tarot, I'm reading charts. Like, it's kind of like, if you would have asked me that 2 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. You know, I would have said, no, I'm a loan officer. Sorry.
Right. Exactly. And look how much has changed. Exactly. And, you know, a lot of people ask themselves, you know, what can I do and how can I contribute? And I feel like I need to be doing something, but I don't know what. And it really comes down to authenticity. That's it. Like, it's so much more simple than people care to believe or accept. People really love, you know, to complicate things. It's in our nature to complicate things and convolute, you know, solutions and you know, it's really quite simple. So much of it comes down to intent and moment by moment, living by your intuition, letting that be your compass, and always being true to yourself. You don't always have to be right. You know, I'm not trying to be here like always do the right thing. Like, I'm not a hypocrite. I don't always do the right thing. Far from it. You know what I mean? But I'm authentic. I'm true. I am true to myself no matter what. And you know, sometimes it's not always the right thing to do, but my authenticity has brought me where I am, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And so I think that's what people can do, is be authentic, and it's going to bring you exactly where you need to be in this new year. And with the truth coming out, it's like, seriously, I know that for years, people's biggest thing is like, oh, I don't like to get too deep into the corruption, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because it's just crazy and you lose your mind. And it's like, yeah, you do a little bit, but everybody needs to get a little bit crazy. Everybody needs to get a little bit loopy in order to fully comprehend the whole picture here. Because otherwise you're not going to understand it from your place of limitation that you've been in for so long. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to get a little bit crazy this coming year in order to match what's coming in now.
Did you just hit the wall?
Did I?
I thought you just like smacked it.
I'm gonna rip this thing down because it's so crooked. I can't even handle it right now. I'm like,
yeah, it's very true. And you cannot wake up. And I'm not even saying I'm awake. I mean, I don't even know what the hell that really means. I'll just say this. I know that I'm doing the right thing. I haven't had anybody say to me like, oh, that reading was horrible. I know where my heart is. I know where my intentions are. And it is what it is. Okay. So I don't even have any like, that's why I can come on here and say, screw you, you trolls, go pound sand, because this is my channel. Like it is what it is. And I can take all these people and throw them down to the ground. You know, so because my intentions are where they are for a reason, and I don't need that negative energy. And like for you too, I mean, you and I have such good intentions. We might come off a little harsh, and we are intense, and we're not afraid to go into the deep, dark, ugly that most people can't handle. That's the thing about us. And I think once you can do that, and you can understand, you have to see the bad. You have to take the veil off and see the shit. Because if you're not open to the shit, you're never going to open up your intuition fully. You're never going to get the head under the sand. You have to know and understand all the horrible things that happen in life. I do believe that. Yeah. Or else you're going to be some weird astrologer that's going to live in La La Land, or a weird tarot reading. That's
right. I mean, listen, you're going to get left behind because there is a split taking place, whether people care to realize it or not. It's a split of consciousness, whether it's a physical split and we see with our physically see with our eyeballs things that we can't explain and they happen. And it's just this massive, something like a staged alien invasion or some kind of natural or unnatural phenomenon that takes place that just captures the human consciousness and everybody can see it. Things, for example, 9/11 is an example of an event, a global event that changed the course of this planet. It changed the course of humanity. There was a lot of technology at work with 9/11. So what I'm suggesting is that this coming year, we're all going to bear witness, whether it be a physical event or some kind of more of an unseen event. There will be a shift that takes place this year. And that shift will create a rift, a split, and consciousness is going to skyrocket forward. And it is up to the individual. It's an individual decision that everybody is going to have to make in some form or another, whether or not to go with it, to move in that direction, that quantum direction, which is going to require that you get extremely uncomfortable. There's no way around it. This is not a painless process, folks. There has never been a painless birth. Never. Okay? Anybody that's given birth, even if you haven't given birth, you know it's painful. The split that takes place is going to be traumatic. The level of trauma that you experience is very much going to correlate with your level of preparedness. So that's why I tell people it's okay to wake other people up. It's okay to be the weirdo at family dinner or at, the work party. If you want to be that person that talks about conspiracy theories, and if you want to be that person that brings up those truths and everybody hates you for it, so what? They're not your tribe. If they hate you for it, if they can't deal with it, they can't stomach or tolerate it, or they tell you this isn't the time, this isn't the place. Obviously, folks, exercise a little bit of just, discernment.
But yeah,
you don't have to, right. You don't have to make life super difficult for yourself, but the time of silence is over. You're actually doing a disservice to the people that you truly care about by letting them stay in their comfort zone, because the truth is coming, whether we're ready for it or not, whether we like it or not, it doesn't matter. It's coming. And I always say, like, if you know you're going to get hit, like, the swing is coming, it's better to be prepared. Don't look away. You better not look away. You better react, do something. It's better to be prepared. You know what I mean? So you're not wrong for talking about it. You don't have to stop. You don't have to tone it down. You need to be louder than ever, because this isn't about Trump. This isn't about that administration. Like I said, he's an advantage. Having him in his position now is simply an advantage. We are the players. We are the foot soldiers that are going to make this transition possible without people broadcasting, without people spreading, red pilling people that you care about, and calling out assholes that want to actively resist change, resist the exposure of truth, you need to be combatives right now. This is the time for love and light and peace and love and happiness. All that is garbage. That's new age propaganda brought to you by Soros and the Rothschilds and all of their hoodlums. That's garbage. Love and light is not, it's not, you can't have love and light. You have to have darkness and shadow. Those two things are intertwined. They'll never be separate. We'll always have shadow. Look at me and Heidi. We're huge bitches. By the way, that brings me to one quick point that I'm going to make. There seems to be this really strange, now I don't know how this happened, but there's this really strange like misconception about me that I'm like super sweet or something. I mean, I don't know where.
Jenny's moon is in Ardra. She's got planets, her Mars and Mercury in Critica. She's intense, guys. She just has a nice Pisces Revati facade.
Right. On the outside.
Yes.
You know what
I
I mean, and honestly, no, because, you know, I never, ever, not once in my entire life, and especially not in recent years on social media, I have never claimed to be innocent, sweet. I'm not even that forgiving. I'll be completely honest.
It shows like how funny like our first house portrays you. Just shows the difference because people, I have that bitch face. People think I'm a complete bitch. You have to get to know me to like me.
Right.
I'm not going to come off smooth and fuzzy to you like you do. You know, it's just the way it goes. I don't have that in me. Like I'm nice when it comes to business.
Right.
That's it. Perfect. But if you get a reading, I'm totally different. And anybody would vouch to that. I'm a different person than I have to be here. This is like walls up, man.
Right.
The Trump walls, I'm on guard, you know?
The Trump walls. Oh.
Trump walls, the Trump rods, everything. But yeah, Jenny, but that's the thing. You're way stronger than what people might perceive you for. Absolutely. You could.
I don't know. It just bothers me because I'm not trying. I've never put up this love and light, innocent facade ever, folks. I'm so far from perfect. It would make your head spin. I have bad habits. You know what I mean? Like I'm full of flaws. I'm full of things that I have to contend with every single day, probably for the rest of my life, because it's my karma. It's in my chart. I'm going to make a meme. I'm going to make a meme that says it's in her chart or it's in his chart. And that's just going to be the way that it is, because we are who we are, folks. You can't change it. There are things we can do to keep our darkness, at bay, or embrace it, accept it, and live within our moral codes that we deem acceptable in our realities. But other than that, listen, I've never said I was innocent. Or
I'm probably a little nicer than you, actually.
You might be. Heidi,
yeah, I'm probably more nicer than you. People would never guess that.
No, they would never. They would totally.
My moon is your ascendant. So the way you are is how I can cave sometimes. But yeah, just believe that. Look how fooled we have everybody.
Right, exactly. Everybody thinks that I'm the nice one and Heidi's the bitch. But I mean, the things that I would do, the thoughts that run through my head would really shock people. And now my intent is never evil. I'm not an evil person by any stretch of the word.
No, not at all. No, it's all for the right.
But the level of violence that I conceive of when I think about, right. Well, because it's, when I think about the predators, when I think about the people that have stolen and torture and hurt these kids, I mean, the ways that I think of making these people suffer, that doesn't, maybe that makes me bad or wrong, or I don't know, but it is what it is. Those are my thoughts. Those are my feelings. They come up. I acknowledge them. I don't pretend like they're not there. You can't pretend that you don't feel those things, because you're not helping anything. Your anger is righteous. Those feelings of darkness serve a purpose. And so I don't even know how we got into it, because people are like, you act like you're so innocent. And I'm like, what channel have you been watching? What have you been watching that I haven't? Are you kidding me? No. Absolutely not. I'm not even.
This guy goes, Heidi, you appear dominant. Yeah. And did you hear what Ernst said about me, about the wolf pack scenario? It's like, okay, so what he said, explained it. Couldn't have explained it any better. If you have Rahu and Kritika, basically what this is, especially in your 7th house, okay, you were like a survivor in a past life. This made the most sense to me, better than anybody's ever explained to me. You know, you have your worth. Okay. So you have these certain standards that, because you've just done a lot of things to get where you are, you know, like, and you're a strong person, you're a survivor. You can just deal with anything. Pretty much. I'm very independent. I've never relied on anybody for anything in my entire life.
Never.
I swear to God, I've left people, I've left husbands for security reason, not for just because I didn't want to be with them anymore. Like, I have never stayed in a situation because I was going to just make myself to suffer to feel more comfortable. I was like that young girl, always in relationships, but then I'd leave when I'd find something better.
Right.
Then I didn't realize, like, I had to learn about who I was. Then when you learn your worth, okay, so what happens with Rahu is Rahu and Kritika, and you have 2 planets in Kritika too. So
what is Kritika? Please refresh me.
So Kritika is in Taurus, okay, so it's in Taurus, and it's in partially Aries and Taurus, but when it's in Kritika is harsh, it's cutting wit. So a lot of stand-up comedians that have planets in this come out, they're funny, cutting wit, smart asses, they'll say things they really don't even care. But it is the passionate crusader. It's, and how Ernst explained it, it's an animal nature nakshatra. So basically a way to explain this was that my Rahu's in this like a survivor. So think of it as a wolf pack and being dominant. Like, I'm not going to like let loose until I know somebody's stronger than me. I'm not going to give in. I need somebody to put me in my place. They have to be stronger than me. And that's tough because I am pretty strong mentally and like every way. So I will test people when I'm in relationships with them to see. And it doesn't mean like stronger physically. It doesn't even mean stronger financially or any of those levels.
No, it's like, a matter of will and confidence.
Yeah,
confidence.
It is mentally, and it's also like brains. Like, are you like smart enough like to?
Right. Oh God, Heidi.
Yeah.
It's no, it's definitely true. Listen, folks, I think that Heidi and I have done a really, really good job of attracting the right. When I say the right kind, I just mean like minds. I know that you guys understand because I know that you guys can relate. And you're all, you know, most of the people that have reached out to me from watching the show and the people that join us in the live chat and are very interactive. We've got a lot of regulars. Everybody knows, everybody really has their hands on the pulse of what's going on in the world right now and what it's going to require of us. And we really are all a team, you know. We're all really in this together, and I don't mean to sound kumbaya or anything, but 2018, I couldn't be happier to be part of this community, and to not be alone, because, you know, I was alone, you were alone, we were alone in this for a while, and now we have such a strong group, and everybody has each other to bounce things off of, and I think it's really important that we lean on each other through these times. And you don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel like the odd one out, the alien, the black sheep of the family or whatever, because 2018 is going to reveal new family, new communities. So I think we're going to see a lot of survivors of satanic ritual abuse, even people in Hollywood that are so scared of the truth coming out that they might jump ship first. In order, they might work out plea deals. They might work out, you know, witness protection. I'm talking about names so common, people on sitcoms that we've been watching for 20 years. They're going to have been, you know, subjected and put in these roles that it's just going to blow people's minds. And what are you going to do? You're going to be the person, you get to be the person in your circle, in your family, or in your circle of friends that has been talking about it and knows about it. You guys are the leaders. You guys are going into 2018 with an advantage, with a wealth of knowledge, and you're all capable of helping people in your communities through this time. This is going to be a very trying time.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be difficult.
With that, we have 3. Let's pull like 2 cards.
Do some readings.
Yeah, but let's pull a couple cards, like just to the overall energy of the. The year. Let's just do 3 cards a piece. What do you think? 3 cards?
For what?
The year.
Yeah.
We'll just make it generic for 2018. It's just for like in general, for everybody that's watching, kind of like the overall, maybe just nothing specific.
Wait a second. This is what we should do, because we should designate, because if we're pulling 3 cards each, designate a context to each card. Like, so the first one should be, I love to do focus on, avoid. No, let's do internal, external, internal, external, and I don't really like outcome. Internal, external, and guidance. Yeah. So internal, what's going on with people internally, what's going on externally, and then guidance. So what you can do. Okay, does that sound good?
Yeah, and I'll pull an oracle card for that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is basically for everybody watching the chat. And then we are going to do 3 readings that we picked. And so that's it, just 3. We're going to do Vedic astrology and some tarot mixed up like we do.
Just 3, no super chat tonight, folks.
Yeah. I have a reading right after, so I can't.
Okay. Thank you for letting me ramble, Heidi. Thank you. Soon I'll have my very own channel so I can ramble on my own channel and use up my own time. Are you going to be a guest on my channel, Heidi?
Yeah, every week if you'd like me to. We could just bounce around.
We'll call it the Heidi Vandenberg series.
Yeah, one of the series I am going to start soon is all my clients that are now have YouTube channels. I'm going to do like introductions to their channels. So I have a playlist I'm starting. It says upcoming guests. I have just put one person. I decided this last night.
So exciting.
So, because I've always wanted to do this, I've just been so overwhelmed. So I'm going to try to keep them. I'm going to get those started in January. So I have a lot of people that, I've read their charts. They're definitely people that need to be out there. And so and now I have more subscribers. So it's better than when I only had, a couple 100,000. So that's what this is all about. Anybody can be successful doing this. Because there's YouTube. Like, life is different. You don't need an agent anymore to get yourself out there. You don't need, you can make money without opening up a shop, Life is different. Anybody can do this if this is what you want to do. I mean, I'm not saying everybody should be doing it but I mean, who knows? Maybe everybody should be doing it. Who knows?
Your voice. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I hate when people say, oh, you couldn't be doing it. You don't know. You could be the best, whatever. All right, so
internal, external guidance.
And guidance.
For 2018, folks, these are just general messages for everybody.
These are a new deck. These are the astrology tarot. I can't wait to use these. These are interesting.
So cool.
The first one's the Draco.
Wait a second.
Also the 9 of Wands.
Wait, can you lift it up, please? The Draco.
Yeah.
Can I see it? What? Oh, wow. That's really cool. Okay, so the 9 of Wands as an internal, that's so perfect.
Yeah.
That's so perfect because the 9 of Wands as an internal marker of activity has a lot to do with the one last great challenge, the one last great stand, okay? Because 9 coming right before 10, 10's being completion, chapter completed, Wands being about passion and willpower and mentality, the fire element. So this is a test of people's willpower. One last great big challenge before this type of completion. So again, that's indicative of a huge internal test, just like we were saying.
Yeah. Are you ready for this? What it says here on this little thing?
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit different. It's using the same things, 9 of Wands, but what it means here, this is the Celestial Tarot. It says, at the heart, wait, oh, sorry, wrong one. Coiled around the North Pole. It's funny, I talked about Antarctica today, not like that means anything, but Draco guards the treasure at the center of the celestial sphere. Yeah, God.
That's so wild.
Love how like this always pans out, like cards. Yeah. It just never fails. Okay. Again, another serpentine creature appears to confront the hero. Draco is often located with Ladon, the dragon guarding the golden apples of Hesperides, defeated by Hercules. Having accomplished so many labors, the hero faces yet another, this time with helps of Atlas. When the Nine of Cups is drawn, or the Nine of Wands is drawn, I'm sorry, Nine of Wands, or when it, oh my God, when the Nine of Cups is drawn, it reveals there may be an obstacle in the path of the dragon to subdue, yet with a second wind, accompanied by inner strength and conviction, the individual successfully meets the challenge. So okay, regardless of all that said, I would say this looks like there's going to be something big that comes up, right? Big hurdle, big Draco dragon, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And
the truth, the serpent that guards the
oh my God. And guess what the card beside it is? The Nine of Cups.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's amazing.
Wow. No,
I want to cry.
Oh no, that's good. Oh my God.
I know, that's great. I was like,
because it really validates what we're saying, you guys, that this year, especially what's so great about 2018 is that the climax comes at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah,
we don't have to wait
off in January, February, March.
You guys, exactly. We don't have to wait until fall. We don't have to wait until winter. Stuff is happening right freaking now, striking while the iron is hot. And it's exactly like what we're talking about right here. The cards, listen, you have to believe in the power of synchronicity when it comes to tarot, any kind of divination, anything like that. You just have to trust it, and it works. Trusting it works. If you don't trust it, if you don't believe it, doesn't matter how many cards you pull, none of it's ever going to make sense to you because you're committed to misunderstanding it. That's your own problem, right? But in any case, the Nine of Cups, and that's really interesting that even the description of the card, I'm assuming it's your like pamphlet, your like hand.
Yeah.
But you pulled the Nine of Cups right next to the Nine of Wands, which really just sort of solidifies what those two cards, what they do for each other. And the Draco, the snake guarding the truth of the galactic center. I mean, that's the true nature of our planet, the true nature of our world being revealed, and the effect of that exposure on individual people.
Wait till you read what this says. I have to say this because before you say anything else, you're going to die. This is a woman tied up in chains. Okay. So it says the Nine of Cups, Andromeda. I don't know what that means. That's a woman, I guess. The figure of this figure of this chained woman has been consistently projected onto the constellation of that. Her name, ruler of men, reveals the ancient tradition of the queen, the goddess, surrogate wed to the hero. It's so weird because we were saying about birth and all that stuff too earlier today. Okay, surrogate wed to the hero. In the Nine of Cups, she's free from the chains that have held her hostage. Yeah. So look at that, like people that have been sex slaved.
Yes.
Seriously, in a mood of revere, she raised her arms in the gesture of liberation, naked and innocent. She's ready to give herself freely. Nine of Cups is a period of emotional fulfillment and satisfaction as the weight of the past has been emotionally lifted.
Yes.
It's the best reading I've ever gave right here.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I feel it really strongly. What's that? Jupiter expansion.
The Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter.
I'm, oh my God. No, listen, I have chills right now because the Wheel of Fortune, that to me in this context, this really brings home and emphasizes the fact that this is not won yet. It's not solidified yet. So yes, we are winning. We have the edge, we have the advantage, we have the tools. The decision is ours. And the Wheel of Fortune is one of those things where it really does come down to luck. Some people will be crushed under the weight of the wheel. It is a wheel. And what does a wheel do? It turns, it moves, it does not stop. And depending on where you are on that wheel, you're either on top or you're on bottom, but the wheel keeps turning. And so this is very much about the decision, the choice that we're all going to be faced with.
Look at that picture. There is a man at the top, right? See that? Yeah. And then there's the person under, and then that's the wheel.
There's a guy that looks like Jesus.
And here's the weird thing. I'm not going to lie. This one was reversed. Okay. So yeah, what Jenny's saying right there, she read it, but I mean, that's realistically like you could wake up. Jupiter can be the great expansion. It can, or it can be a terrorist planet. It really can. It's beliefs, religious beliefs. If you let your beliefs and your beliefs, those steadfast beliefs, thinking you're not your ego, but that like fear of thinking outside of the box, get into the way, you'll be under the wheel.
And here's the thing about fear is fear serves a purpose. It truly freaking does. Fear of predators, fear of heights, fear of water. We have these inherent fears because our fear keeps us alive. That's the primal function of fear, okay? But fear right now is so dangerous because people don't have to fear predators. They don't have to fear heights. We have, in modern society, we have the ability to keep ourselves safe with technology, things like that. We don't have to go on top of there's so many things we don't have to do anymore because we are a civilized civilization. But now our primal fear is about exposure, about facing ourselves. People have done unfathomable things in order to avoid facing themselves. And so you have to let go of the fear of yourself, the totality of all that you are. Because if you're not ready and willing to look at that, you are not capable, you are not prepared to deal with the truth of the nature of this planet. You're not. So that's step number one, is get right with yourself. You don't have to heal yourself in a year. You don't have to fix yourself overnight. It's not going to happen. Okay. Make the decision to contend with that. Admit it. Stop denying it. Stop denying all of your bad habits and your faults and everything, and you can put it behind you. You can decide that you want to be better. And it really is as simple as that.
Yeah.
So do you want to do these readings?
Yeah. You didn't pull 3 cards?
I think your cards were good enough.
Last one, Ganesh, protection. Couldn't be any better. So there is protection. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Well, because one more thing is also that I don't really believe in the concept of sin in the traditional biblical sense, the way that they want us to perceive sin and what sin is, and eternal damnation for your sins. Like if you masturbate, you're going to spend an eternity in the 7th circle of hell. That's all garbage. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine? But I think that there really is something to the concept of, if you act in accordance with spiritual law, whereas do good, don't kill anybody, don't harm children, don't harm anybody intentionally, you're malintent, you can't have malintent in the world. But if you do good, you are granted a level of protection. And every time that you sin, and I hate the term sin, but every time that any one of these bastard predators, these pieces of crap that feed on children, every time that they have done something horrible, they have revoked their privilege, their grace of having protection from repercussions. So for many, many years, these people feed this dark god, this dark deity, this dark entity. They feed it, they worship it, they sign the contract, they make the oath in blood, right? And they're granted a level of protection. But nothing is for free. The biggest mistake these people ever made was trusting the trickster, was making a deal with an energy that is fundamentally and by definition untrustworthy. They made a deal with a liar. They made deals with liars. And now, because of all of their horrible misdeeds, they have no more protection. Their protection has been stripped. The moment that Donald Trump, the timeline freaking shifted, and the moment that Donald Trump was elected president and we gained that advantage where we were not going to be given Madam President Hillary freaking Clinton, they were stripped of a lot of their protection. And now the people that are authentic, the people that do good I feel will be granted a level of protection because they literally are in the light.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we can move on.
Okay, so the first chart that I picked, I just want to make sure I have the right information here.
The dark side. I like that. I mean, call it the dark side.
This is somebody's birthday tomorrow, so that's kind of in a way too.
Okay. Yay! Get me.
I'm not gonna wear it, but I had to just throw it on just for a quick second. Okay. All right. So for this person.
Wait, just really quick. Who holds them accountable spiritually? We do. You do. You will manifest for yourself repercussions. That's the way that it is. I'm not saying God is going to punish these people or, somebody's going to come down with a magical spear and spear all the bad people. No, because everybody, even these child molesters, these predators, they have all made the decision before they incarnated here to experience life this way, being that far side of the spectrum in the darkness. They agreed to experience that, and they also agreed to deal with it. So God is not going to dole out punishment, folks. We are the universe experiencing itself, all of us, from the most evil to the most righteous among us, and we will also manifest for ourselves exactly what it is that we deserve.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. So this person here, I'm just going to be honest. Like when I wish I kind of wouldn't have said I would do this in person. Like this is a chart. I'm not going to be able to say too much because there's a lot going on here.
Okay.
Okay. So this is like, you're definitely, okay. Your ascendant is in the nakshatra of Sravana. Sravana is somebody that's a very good listener. Somebody that, and this is 1-3-61, 10-25. Okay. So this person is very, a good listener, very practical. It's the one I sent you the email, remember? The first email.
Okay, right. Yeah.
So, you have this very grounded ascendant, very grounded way of acting, your first house. Very business, very like structured, at least try to be very structured. You have a very good front of being strong, and you are, don't get me wrong, you are for sure. Okay, that's for sure, because you've had a lot of things that have happened in your life that have made you be who you are. Okay, you have K2 conjunct Venus together, and that energy just alone is kind of tough to deal with. It's kind of like how I have K2 and Mars in the first house. So, but some of the positive things that this does is it makes you very psychic. It makes you a healer, makes you a great at astrology, at tarot, anything like that. Definitely healing. You could see ghosts. I know a ton of people that can really tap into other realms with this nakshatra. I mean, you don't even need tarot, and you could just talk to dead people if you wanted to, just being honest. Like you could talk to spirits, people crossing over, things like that. Very, very psychic. Okay. But sometimes that ascendant gets in the way of being too practical, that maybe you don't, you just don't do it that fully. It also gives you issues in relationships. You're always going to have that unfulfilled balance of relationships. You're going to always be searching for more, for something better. It's going to give you a ton of relationship issues. Okay. This K2 conjunct Venus in Aquarius. It just lots of unhealthy relationships, and a lot of, this can also have to deal with finances because this is the second house. So you have a big second house, 8th house thing going on here. Okay. So Rahu in the 8th, K2 in the 2nd, that's a lot of ups and downs with money, expenses like nobody's business, because you have 4 planets conjunct in the 12th house, and you're about to have your Saturn return in the 12th house. So let's just say, and you probably don't sleep well, there could be health things, there could be a lot of stuff going on. So I don't really just want to, you're strong as can be. Your ascendant is your Saturn, but your Saturn is lacking the points a little bit. So it's getting too banged up with all these other planets. So you have, you probably feel drained a lot of the time. It's tough. It's not, you have some karma in this chart, and, and I know you know astrology. You have Mars and Ardra But you have this moon in Cancer and Pusha. Pusha is the nurturer. The way you think is all about nurturing and helping and wanting to heal people. And I'm telling you, the best thing for you to do, the more people you help, the better things will increase for you. You know, you can't emotionally get attached to money because then it will just go somewhere else. You know, you probably worry about money a lot, but then it flies out the system, you know, just real quick. Now, it doesn't always, this doesn't always go bad. Like, you know, this Saturn, Jupiter, Sun, Mercury conjunction, you know, in the 12th house can just be somebody that does work in foreign countries, foreign lands, you know, but not and works for the government. Now, it doesn't always have to be so, you know, negative, but it always comes with, so I have Saturn in the 12th house and it's just not easy. Okay, so transits, you're having a Saturn return in the 12th. So it could be a big change.
That's what I wanted to look at I was going to ask you about transits.
And you have K2 in your first house right now. So you definitely have to be cautious with your health and with accidents and stuff. It's definitely like could be a reboot for you to get better if there's anything like unhealthy in your relation, in your life, in your relationship, and that you are supposed to be. Four of Swords, but this is a cool one.
So that's good. The Four of Swords is fine.
Look at the picture though. It's like this woman. It's a mermaid in a way.
Oh wow, that's really neat.
You know, I have to run these up. So like this, I just pulled it just to see what it says. But you know, definitely changes here for sure. And it doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, you can reboot yourself here. This is the time to weed out the shit, get rid of all the negative baggage that you need to get rid of, and like starting over fresh. K2 and Rahu in the 1st and 7th is definitely pitch the junk that does not need to be in your life anymore. It couldn't be any more of a clean house, clean slate, get rid of all the junk. And it's not going to be easy. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be fun, but you'll be fine. You're in a Venus Dasha. That's positive. It's in your 2nd house. It could be money things too, that you have more opportunities for work and for prominence in society. Jupiter's in your 10th house. This is can be great for career or like getting yourself back on track. It can definitely give you more opportunities. So just know the opportunities are there. And go ahead, Jenny, what do you have to say?
So I pulled these 3 cards. I pulled the 6 of Swords, the Princess of Wands, and the Priestess. And while I didn't have any of your particular transits in mind, and I was just sort of getting a feel for, you know, your chart and listening to Heidi's insights, and what this feels like to me actually does, there's two avenues I kind of want to go down here. First, I think this may possibly be a female in your life. I don't know if this is a family member or perhaps a romantic interest, but there is a lot of feminine energy here. And it looks like it's a really positive influence. The Princess of Wands being the feminine, and it's a combination of the feminine power and the root power of fire. And so that's a very powerful combination. I mean, a destructive, it's not that it's a destructive woman at all. It's more about creation through destruction. It could be that you're attracted to a certain type of female or a certain type of person with this particular trait that seems very destructive or kind of rough around the edges, but really it's the type of person that just is very, they instigate, they get people to think, very clearly. So these 3 cards here strike me a lot. I want to use the word muse. So it's like you're searching for a muse. You're searching for somebody's, for inspiration. It could be through a woman. It could be through females in general, women in general, because the Priestess is a highly feminine card, but this is also about occult studies. This is about imagination. This is about art and the psychic realms. And then this working in tandem with the 6 of Swords, which is the mind, the more logical, clear thinking, you know, strategy. That's a really, really good combination when it comes to creating something new, because it has everything there. You have logic, you have creativity, and you have inspiration and fire, passion. I mean, the Princess of Wands is one of the most sexually, in my opinion, one of the most sexually charged of the court cards, because she is so youthful. She is creative, imaginative, spontaneous. She's not afraid of anything. And you know, creativity is so, you know, sexuality and creativity go hand in hand. So it could be that you, you know, you're desperately seeking inspiration, and it looks like that's what you're going to find. I don't see any red flags here about, you know, loss or destruction or anything like that. So,
and I think this might be a woman possibly. And I'm going to say to you that you need a plan. Exactly what Jenny just said. You need a plan. You are failing due to the lack of planning. Okay. So the strategy reversed is you feel a little clouded, a little lost because you haven't really planned anything out, any real solid, valid ideas. And then you have this card I pulled, which is the envy reversed. And this is really important. This is the last thing I'm going to say to you. And this is just means that reversed is a heralds a time of joy and appreciation. Your choice to shift your focus from future longing to present gratitude creates a significant difference in your energy field and moves out a dramatic and radiant way to attract more to you. You know that you can keep your eye on future goals without losing sight of your present gifts. So continue to release any old feelings of envy or lack whenever those emotions come up and bring in more value to yourself. So that's, you know, that's pretty explainable. Okay, next person we pick is
what time is your reading, Heidi?
9:30.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this person is actually, I think he's in the chat here. So where did he go? Just make sure I have this right.
And swollen from the holidays. I did a lot of drinking over the weekend, so I'm like super puffy. See, folks, I'm not perfect. You've got some of these people out here saying, "Oh, I haven't had sugar in 5 years. I haven't had like." Great, and that's great, and I totally wish, but yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not that evolved or disciplined yet.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes. I would like to fast.
Okay.
Heidi, you fast from time to time, right?
Sometimes. All right. It really does feel better. Like I get so much energy when I don't eat. It's so weird. It is strange because you would think you would get just really hungry and stuff.
No,
then I get really hungry and then I just want to eat everything. So, all right. So
ranch dressing.
Oh no. This is a 5/16/87. Okay, so this person here is a Capricorn ascendant too. Okay, Capricorn, same ascendant, same nakshatra as the person earlier. Sravana, good listener, good at business. Capricorns are all about law and order, justice. Now, which law and order they follow, it can go south. I'm just going to be honest. You know, you can get in trouble with the law when you have this. Not saying that that's what has happened to you at all. Actually, for you, I am very curious to know, and I think you've made Bitcoin remarks on my stuff. And if you have, and you have invested in Bitcoin, let's just say speculation is very, very good for you. I've just done 3 people that have made millions with Bitcoin, astrology wise. I just did readings for them. And I can tell you that your chart is looking very similar to theirs. So that's good. So good things will be coming your way. Now, pause on the other things I'm going to say. You're very creative. You might have some issues with siblings if you have siblings. If you don't, then you have you're very competitive. You're probably a good writer. You're probably really good at creativity. You're really good at sales, good at selling things, and a lot of music too, though. Maybe music, different creative, more about like creating things, different wavelengths, more like, I don't want to say IT creative, but possibly, you know, more along the technology creative side. You're probably way better with technology than me or Jenny. Right? But that doesn't take much. Okay. So
right. That's not saying much.
Yeah. So you have Jupiter and Revati, you probably like animals. You're very intuitive, very much so. Your moon is in Mula. but it's in the 12th. You keep your emotions in. There could be some separation from the mother, a little distance from the mother, possibly, not necessarily because you have Venus in the 4th, but definitely you keep things in. And there's like 12th house is self-sacrifice, hospitals, jails, prisons, mysteries. So it makes somebody that's that's a researcher all day long. Okay. Very researcher, very imaginative, like always imagine, like, you're really good at that imagination thing, all that kind of stuff. Could write like novels, I'm sure, of like all kinds of fun stuff. But, you have Sun and Mercury in your 5th house, which is great for business, speculation, gambling. And I don't want to say go gamble, but you kind of have the chart that could do it. Okay. So business is good for you. Business, speculation. You'll have enemies that are males, but it doesn't even matter. You'll blast through them. But you're ruled by Saturn, so you worry a lot. You have a lot of fear, a lot of worry. There's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of like barriers and burdens that will get in your way. And I promise you, you just had a Saturn return 2 years ago. So the past 2 years have sucked. Now it's going to really kind of be a little more emotionally draining because Saturn's going to be conjuncting your moon. So just know that emotionally, you're going to be really secluded. You already like your space. You're going to go into like isolation city. You're going to just want to like lock yourself in a room and hibernate. Okay. But I'm going to tell you that right now, what's being tested is relationships. Okay. So big changes in relationships completely, so if you're married, there could be some shakeups, new feelings, and this is like endings too. So endings I don't see really a rebirth. I'm saying it could be, but more of you, this is like you're either you or maybe it's somebody you're with. Now, if you're not with somebody and it's something different, then maybe, somebody new comes into your life. But, this can be a little tough on you, draining. So for 2.5 years, you're going to go through a really stressful, emotional, like stuff going on. But just know it's going away. Use it for research. Use it for investigating things and, things like that.
Talk to me about a transit.
12th house. Saturn in the 12th, K2 in the 1st. So relationships.
I'm going to do 12th house because that's my forte.
12th house. That's your spot, Jenny. He's got Venus there right now. Venus, Sun, Saturn.
Jeez.
Yeah. You're definitely going through a lot of changes. But you have some really positive things too that can happen. So don't lose sight. This is great. This will be one of those years that some really good things happen. But, it's like coming with a price.
Well, what it feels like to me, just intuitively, without even pulling any cards, is about doing the best that you can do to cope with endings, to cope with letting go of things and letting things be. What is it?
Take time to breathe.
Take time to breathe.
Take a relaxation. Exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I just saw myself because there's like a lapse. It's seriously like a 45-second lapse. And I just watched myself stick my whole arm down my shirt and scratch. And I'm like, did I just do that as if there aren't a ton of people watching me?
And then I'm going to say, this is your other card you get. Express your creativity. You are so freaking creative. You need to use it, period. Okay? And I know you are, because I see you commenting and posting things. Because the magician in the mirror and the thinking woman, this is you needing to open up that creativity, get a set of rods, buy some tarot cards. You'll be good at it, for sure.
All right. So I really want to talk about endings, and this year being a year of sort of tying up loose ends, letting things be exactly what they are. Okay. Oh my gosh. I hate when people do that. You can't see the cards, but I have like a reaction to the cards. Okay, wow. So listen. This particular person is definitely currently in conflict. There are lots of conflicts taking place right now. I have the Prince of Swords, the 5 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords.
Sounds like a Heidi reading.
Right. Oh my not. No, Heidi. No, it's not. It's not, Heidi. No, this is very much for you. And whenever there's a high concentration of swords in a reading, we're talking about high conflict, high tension, lots of risks involved, you know, people just bashing heads. Swords are indicative. It's not so much of a battle of willpower or battle of ideas as it is a battle of money versus money, business versus business, rules versus rules, authority versus authority. Okay, swords originally, traditionally, indicated people that held power, held authority, the people, you know, signing documents and moving money around. The Prince of Swords is an archetype that oftentimes hides things, and will hide things, hoard information in an effort to utilize that information to better themselves and kind of keep information secret from other people. So this person needs to watch out. I don't know if this is this person, a facet of this person who is secretive, hides things, is kind of on their own a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, that you're secretive, private, reserved, that's all fine and dandy. But these other two cards here indicate that this is actually causing some problems. The Five of Swords is a card quite literally of being faced with quite a bit of loss of reputation, a loss of ground. Okay, some kind of some situation has arisen. You know, these two cards together, the Five of Swords, the Eight of Swords, this is about somebody getting in your way, either via rules. This is like somebody filing a lawsuit. This could be a really bad traffic ticket, a court date, people just getting in your way. So listen, let me pull another, because this is just showing me the problem, but I'm really not satisfied with that, because I want to give you something you can use and sort of sink your teeth into in terms of a solution and what you can do to fix this.
Yeah, because if there's an ending, like right now, I think it's relationships, you know, my guess, kind of. Okay. So, and if it,
listen, and Eight of Swords too is about being bound by rules, bound by law, bound by a contract, bound by an arrangement.
Marriage.
Yes. Bound.
If somebody doesn't want to be in a marriage anymore and feels really strapped, would that be that kind of energy?
Listen, if I could sum up these three cards into a story, it is a man or a woman that is stuck in a dead-end marriage.
Okay. That's what we needed to hear.
Okay. And I hate saying that because
no, but that was what we needed to hear, probably.
Okay. I really hate saying that. I truly do. I don't ever like to just be like, bleh, but okay. It is what it is. Okay.
Last one now. This one's a fun one, because Jenny, you'll like this one. All right. So your Scorpio, this is for somebody, and this is 10/11/76. Okay. October 11th, 1976. It's a male, Jenny, just so you know. And they might be watching now. They might not be. I don't know.
Okay.
So Scorpio ascendant like me, which I know you have said a lot of times that you can just see. This guy says to me, he sees that I think a lot like him, which is true.
I love Scorpio.
Yeah. Well, the funniest part about this is, guess what he's got in his 12th house?
What?
Venus, Rahu, and then Mars. So that's a lot in the 12th house.
Yes, it is.
So we know what Rahu is. Rahu is this taboo breaker, this thing that causes a lot of problems, okay? It causes illusions. It causes a little craziness. It causes enemies. You'll have hidden enemies, women and men, a whole storm of things, like people that will just be jealous of you. You're probably a really good dancer, very creative with the arts, music, you know, that kind of stuff. Very creative like that. And honestly, I think you would do really good in foreign countries, foreign lands. You'd be better off with maybe somebody foreign things. Might work out a little bit better for you. But the ruler of your chart, Mars, goes into the 12th. So there could be some obstacles with family members, maybe even brothers, male figures, I would say. You know, they're just, this could even put you in jail, you know, at some point. Like it could get you in trouble. So you have to be careful with all that energy in that Venus, Rahu, Mars. It also can have a lot of like turbulence when you're younger growing up. I've seen a lot of times somebody that had a lot of like domestic stuff happen, a lot of unhealthy things happen in their childhood. Not very easy, okay? And then this person has a moon conjunct Jupiter and Critica in Taurus. So remember I was just talking about Critica? It's kind of crazy, like everything we said here. And this is in your 7th house. So you focus a lot maybe on relationships, then they end up being the wrong relationships. With the Venus Rahu conjunction, you're never going to be happy with like it's going to make you go through a lot of different women or whatever, you know, just you're never going to have that, it's always searching for more, always searching and ingesting. And like, that's kind of the problem with this. And then there can be some hurdles because then there's good old fashioned Mars there with it too. So it's a lot, you know, so sometimes it can really cause a lot of mess with the judgment. And you've gone through a rough, I know you were worried about what's happened in your life. You went through a lot of rough years. Yeah, you have. But you have so many positive things that now there should be some better opportunities for you. But we're still getting blasted kind of right now. We have Jupiter in our 12th, and that's conjuncting Venus, Rahu, and Mars. So definitely a time to get, you know, watch your money, watch expenses, because you could get, if you're with somebody that's a woman that makes you spend a lot of money, because you'll probably have, women are a big expense for you. They can be.
I can honestly say, you know what? I'm not going to say it.
Go ahead, say it.
No, I'm not. All right, I'll say it. Like, I thought that I had that I was high maintenance. I thought that I was, until I grew up a little bit and realized that I was actually like really low maintenance. Mm-hmm. And like the women around me demand all of these things from their husbands. And I'm just like, wow, she, like, you know what I mean? I don't know why I'm bringing that up.
You know what's really funny though? Let me tell you how you are high maintenance, emotional high maintenance.
Oh yeah. Don't tell people that.
Oh, you need the brains.
Right. No, that's what it is. No. Right.
Like emotions. Yeah, that's how you are. That's not a bad thing. I'd rather be that high maintenance than the other. I need
the money stuff. Like, it's so boring after. Like, I mean, like, I don't know.
You have it all, and it doesn't matter. I mean, I still want nice things always, but you know, I'm not like an extremist either.
No.
I just need somebody tough.
Right. Yes, toughness is very important. You have to have a thick skin.
And you have to be able to put me in my place.
Yeah, exactly. No cucks. No.
So a couple good things too. Moon, Jupiter can be very spiritual and great, but it's in Taurus, so it's really like about money. Sometimes you might worry about money a lot. Very creative with that Moon, Jupiter conjunction. Very lucky too. Can get you out of a lot of things, you know. And I know you do something very creative and stuff, and that this totally makes sense. I think you're a rapper, okay? And I know.
I think you're a rapper.
I think this guy is a rapper in the UK, okay? And he is, and your son is in Chitra.
Wait, you're not joking?
No, I'm not even joking.
Oh my God. I love life right now.
But that's why you have all that creative energy, okay? So it's crazy, but you have just a lot of like weird obstacles that will get in the way, like sex, women, jealous people, just hurdles, you know. And you're a Scorpio, so you're like you're very emotional and you're very passionate, so you really want that like sexual bond that with somebody, very, you know, type of thing. God, do you have any cards?
Yes, I do. So, all right. I feel like this person, I feel like it's all like, it's just very sexual. Like, oh God, we're so immature. All right. All right. So do we want to look at relationships?
Let's go with, for him, no. Go with, well, maybe. Okay, so right now you're going to have some beliefs shifting. Maybe you could travel now. You're having Rahu on your Saturn. Your beliefs might change a lot.
You know what I'll do for this person? I'll do 3 cards. I'll do career, love, creativity.
Perfect.
All right, because I know we gotta finish it up now here, folks.
Way to stay on task.
Yes. Career, relationships, creativity.
Man, people are on the alien bandwagon.
It's not a bandwagon, okay? Aliens.
I'm not saying, did you not see? No, because
my eyes were closed. So.
Right now, Wayne has a show up called Abductee. Rex says something and Senator something is monitoring the planet, and they're monitoring if it's a UFO.
Yeah, they are. Ew, look at that guy's face. The alien guy. Ew, I want to just like box his face. Just like, you know, one of those toys that you can punch and then they go back and then they come back. Okay, so so I said career, relationships, and creativity. Mm-hmm. So I want to start with creativity. And when we're talking about creative mind, probably the most important thing for this person is to be clear. So I'm going to just come out and say it. If drugs or alcohol or any kind of mind altering substance or energy, even if it is the influence of people, the influence of negative society, any kind of influence that clouds up your mind, that needs to be cut away. Because the only way that your authenticity and all of that real, true creativity is going to come through you is if you're clear. Okay, the Ace of Swords is all about an undertaking. You may also, creatively speaking, may have been procrastinating a lot, because whenever the Ace of Swords comes up, this is about just doing it already, whether you like it or not. The time has come to just do it. And it also comes a lot, this card will come up a lot when somebody has been avoiding something. So creatively speaking, it's kind of like, you know, when you have writer's block or you have some kind of like a block, like it happens to you and I all the time. We're like, you know, we can't, like, it's like something. And then really what it comes down to is that moment in time where you're not thinking about anything in particular, the situation's just right, and then something just comes. Yeah. Now, when we talk about relationships, I have the Hierophant. This is the mentor. This is the Pope. This is the mentor, the teacher, the spiritual leader. This is the patriarchy. This is the many as opposed to the one. And so I think for you, in terms of relationships, this can indicate marriages. This can indicate things that are made legitimate. So, because the Hierophant is a card of the patriarchy, of organizations, that sort of thing, things that are very official, okay, things that are very just things that have been legitimized, like I don't know why I'm seeing like the notary, like a stamp of a notary. Okay, so I don't know if this could also be relationships with people that you work with, you know, people or a person that, you know, you work really closely with who shares a lot of the same intellect. It could be that you're admired in a lot of ways too, because this particular card is the teacher, the mentor, the one about that is sort of looked at and admired by a lot of people. And then when we look at career, we have the Sun. And there's so many ways to interpret the Sun. And in this context, this really is about anything being possible. And also a lot of things coming to light. I mean, the Sun and the Ace of Swords in one reading, this is about cutting to the heart of a matter and being really clear and speaking up. It's really important now that you be more clear than ever about your purpose, and what it is that you really stand for, and like clearing away all of the clutter and the stuff that doesn't serve you. But there's no cards here that indicate that there's anybody, you know, that there's any of these crazy plots against you or anything like that. It's all very sunny. Yeah, clear. The mind needs to be clear. If there is an issue with substance abuse or anything like that, that absolutely needs to be addressed. I feel like there is something coming up, because between creativity and relationships, the Hierophant also has in the past come up when it comes to like 12-step programs, Alcoholics Anonymous, and just people generally coming together in a support group to get their lives together, regardless of what kind of an addiction it is. So I hope that helps.
Last, I'm going to give him appreciation. And I think you need to appreciate some of the things you have in your life, this, the garden and the gate upside down. This is more about a spiritual, open up that spiritual, stop worrying so much on all the other nonsense, get with groups that are like minds of you and stop researching all the BS that is not doing you any good. And the last card, spiritual abundance, and she is holding a sack of coins. So
sack of coins.
Sack of coins. So funny. All right. So that looks positive. Just look at what, I mean, think about it. I'm a Scorpio ascendant, you're a Scorpio ascendant. This is like, get the truth out. Get your truth out, just like Jenny said. So I hope that helps, guys. And Trisha and I will be doing numerology, and for the last video I wrote on the first 10 people, we might do some more if we're in a good mood. So
you're gonna do that tonight after?
No. I have a reading. No, we're gonna record it this week.
I was gonna say, geez. And I don't know if it's gonna happen this week or next week or when I'm gonna get around to it, but I really am going to start my YouTube channel. So if anybody has any tips for me when it comes to editing or
oh, really? You don't want my advice? Why don't you take a class with me, Jenny?
Right. Let's take a Heidi techie tutorial.
It's called buy Zoom and turn it on. That's what
right. Just turn it on and just
go live.
Talking. Oh God. And when the little red button comes on, that means you're talking shit.
Yep. And hopefully you don't regret what you said.
Right, exactly. Hopefully you don't regret what you said.
Oh, you know, like I even thought about it. Maybe I'll edit that first part out of the video. But like, you know what? If I did, it wouldn't be me.
Right,
so
exactly.
It is. If you don't like me because I call out the trolls, you probably shouldn't let you're not gonna like me. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, how are you gonna just like hide who you are
and hold it in? I will be over here like stabbing things behind the scenes if that's the case. I will be so angry when we get off of here if I had to keep my mouth shut.
Oh, yeah.
Like I have to let it loose. I don't hold things in well, you know?
No, she doesn't.
Because once I let it out, then it's okay. Then it's like woo-hoo, you know, but until I don't let it out.
I think it's actually a really good trait because like truly like sociopathic people or just really bad people that you should stay away from are actually really, really good at hiding things and just putting the face on and then like, you know,
they go home and kill people and, you know.
Yeah, they go home and they have a house full of hostages. And you would never freaking think it because they have mastered control. Nah.
That's so
all right. What a show today.
Man, showdown.
Today was crazy. Oh my gosh. All right, everybody. I'm gonna go hydrate. I'm like super dehydrated. All of this gets so puffy when I drink. Like it's so bad. I need to work on it. All right, everybody. All right. Bye, Heidi. Love you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.